What is a personal brand? And I don't mean, I'm not trying to tell like a dirty joke or, people say, oh, everyone loves their own personal brand. No, no, no. As much as I love fart jokes, as much as the next person, I got a question yesterday asking me, said, hey Josh, what's the difference between a personal brand and then just a company brand? What really is the difference? And I thought it was worth explaining this. First of all, what is brand? Right? Brand is that image, that mental experience you put into the mind of somebody else. So when there's something that you want to translate, you can see something in your own mind, you want to translate that to someone else's mind. That's what brand does. Brand is that identity of your company or you, whatever the case is. So, and by the way, it's different than marketing. People get this confused all the time. Branding is not the same as marketing. Branding is the who, what, and how. It's what you are. It's who you are. It's what you do. It's how you do it. Marketing is just where you find your clients and where they find you. Okay, that's marketing. Marketing is like the amplifier of your brand, if you have one. If you don't have one, it amplifies absolutely nothing, and that's probably why you're not getting results. But let's talk about personal brand versus regular brand. So a regular brand, a brand of just a average company, it's exactly the results of that brand and the results of a personal brand are the same. You're going to get a brand story. You're going to have a brand promise. Here's what the brand promises to do for you. Here's the mission statement, which is how you do what you do. There's the vision statement, which is what happens when you accomplish your mission. There's the purpose, which is the why does the company exist. All the output, the deliverables between the two, between personal brand and regular brand, are the same. The difference is the process, the procedure, and they're exactly opposite. They're 180 degrees out. So when it comes to a regular business, what you see is they start with monetization. They start with a need and a solution, right? Here's a need. Here's something that's not being met out in the marketplace. We think we can come up with a solution, or we have a solution. Start with that. Then, so once they have already thought about the monetization, once they already have a monetization method, then they're going to go and work on articulation. They're going to work on brand messaging. Great. How do we explain this to people? How do we get out there? How do we do all those little brand elements that I just mentioned, or at least a lot of those brand elements? How do we explain this to people in a way that makes them want to buy from us, that makes them want to become our client? So after the monetization, then they find a way to try and express that, articulate it. Then the very last step is discovery. The last step is discovery. The last step is that brand identity, the personification, right, if you will, of what they're doing. So they try and fit that identity into what they're already going to do anyways. They have the company, they have the solution, they have how they're going to express it, and then they come up with some identity that just fits, right? Just fits. I promise you, Geico did not start off their branding way back 75 years ago, 80 years ago now, with a gecko, right? They found later on, that gecko as a way to personify their brand. And look, this is okay, right? This is just how it works. Now, what's the difference between personal brand then? Personal brand goes the other direction. Personal brand starts with discovery. And I use that word on purpose, discovery, uncovering why you get out of bed every morning. It starts with you. It starts with what's in here. Why do you wake up every morning? Why do you do what you do? What is unique about you? What is special about you? What is that genius you have that you need to bring to the world, right? So it starts there. We're not even talking about money yet. Monetization is the last thing on the list. We're starting with your purpose, your reason for existing, right? Why do you breathe? And please don't take offense to that question. Like, that's a serious question. Why do you breathe? Why do you exist? Why do you get out of bed? Because if it's to go to work to make money so that you can buy food and consume it so that you can live to the next day and do it all over again? Is that living? That's up to you to decide. I'm not trying to judge or shame or embarrass you. This is something you just need to think about. But once we can discover that, once we can bring out your true, authentic self, then the next step is articulation. How do you take that identity, your true self, and properly express that? Share that with people. Get that mental image, right? Because you probably have a good mental image of why you exist. If you don't, we need to work on that first. But once you have that, now how do you share that with people in a way that gets them to want to follow you, gets them excited to be part of your tribe, your mission, whatever that is. So once you have that, then once you can articulate why you exist, then it's time for monetization. That's the last step. And there's a reason why that's the last step. It's the last step because I believe, and I hope you believe this too, everything is monetizable. Everything. From the phone you're holding right now, or the computer, to the chair you're sitting on, to the flooring, to the ceiling, to the air you're breathing, everything's monetizable. So if everything is monetizable, why would you start with money? Why not start with what you're really good at, with your genius, your passion, your talent, your skills, and then put that to good use? And there's always a way to monetize, because monetization is just the transfer of value. It's now that you know why you exist and why you're here and the value you can provide to the world. Now it's how do you provide that value and then get paid in return. And ideally, get paid what you're worth in return, which is a fantastic concept. I love that concept. So for me, yes, I can help a company with their brand, and I do that for several companies, but my true passion is personal brand. My true passion is going that direction, starting with the person, because it fits my vision. My vision is a world where everything is personal free trade. Everything. That means you do what you do best, I do what I do best, and we share. And not only do we share, but we create so much abundance and so much extra service and product and results and success that we can share it with other people too. That there's extra. Can you imagine if everyone did what they did best and there was just extra? Hunger's gone, stress is gone, racism, all of these things that are stressing us out, it necessarily goes away because there's no scarcity. Anyways, I'm not going to get into that, but I at least wanted to share the difference between brand and personal brand. And hopefully that made a lot of sense. Hopefully you see the difference. And by the way, I am not judging either one. I'm not saying one's better than the other. You got a company and you need branding, start with your monetization, go that direction. That's fine, it works. But if you don't have an idea yet, if you're not starting with the monetization, start with you. Start with the reason you get out of bed each morning and bring that value to the world. And I promise your life will never be the same. Oh, and by the way, everything that you were told in school about business, forget about it. They lied to you. All right. I'm not even half joking about that. Have a great one. Look, you could find me, Josh Zeppis, on social media of all sorts, or go to joshzeppis.com and let's have a discussion. All right? Cool. Talk to you later.